Oh, well, then we're going to talk to you about Jesus Christ.
Like, you don't have like, you will never know pregnancy. You also are like, oh, lives matter, but you're negating the fact that women's lives matter.
No,
pregnancy
where?
kills people.
Where?
Like,
so does abortion.
No, that is a not murder. That is something.
You know it is. You know it's murder.
That is growing off of someone else.
You're saying that's not a person?
It cannot survive on its own.
You're saying that's not a person?
I do not think that is a person.
You're saying this is not a person. Ma'am, you're denying the truth. Just as Romans chapter 1 says, they suppress the truth and unrighteousness. Oh, hold on. I do want to ask a question. Have you murdered a baby, ma'am? Have you murdered a baby?
No.
You know someone who has?
Yes.
Is that because you have a guilty conscience? Is that why you're denying the humanity of these children?
It's really funny because it was the atheists that were there to help them and there to comfort them and there to make sure that protesters didn't throw things at them. And
throw things at them when it does happen.
Like you're murdering a baby, which isn't true.
Well, it is. You just suppress that truth.
My thing is, okay, so in this particular circumstance, she was being beaten by the man who impregnated her.
I'm sorry to hear that. That does happen.
She was supposed to keep it and stay attached to a man that was beating the shit out of her. Sorry.
She should get away from that loser, that bum, that deadbeat dad. And she should care for her child and get her and the child away from that bum, that deadbeat dad.
Stability is that?
There's lots of resources.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, Christians right here. Christians that go to.
You would rather spend your time yelling at people in a with a megaphone than actually going and giving people resources?
We're not yelling.
Okay, and then on top of that,
ma'am, you're upset. You're more upset right now than we've been out here.
Enthusiastic. I apologize.
Okay.
I'm not upset.
Okay.
And then on top of that, why are you out here seeing as like the whole thing? Like, we've lost our rights as people.
To murder people? Yeah.
We are literally cattle now. We have no bodily autonomy.
You're not cattle.
A corpse has more bodily autonomy than a woman in this country.
Man, that's insanity.
You literally cannot know. You cannot take organs from a dead body, but you can expect a woman to sacrifice her body. Do you know the symptoms of pregnancy? A lot of the time, it steals calcium from your body.
I've seen it 10 plus times.
Your hair can fall out.
Yeah.
You gain weight. Your body will morph, and sometimes it will never be the same. So you're expecting another. That can happen
from a lot of other things, not just pregnancy.
So the solution is to murder your baby.
So the solution is, why is it your problem? You don't have a uterus.
Can I answer that question? He doesn't either. Can I answer that question? It's our problem because we are to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's what Jesus said. And these children are our neighbors. You're our neighbors, and these children are our neighbors.
Because it's about bodily autonomy, not about morality, not about.
Well, that is morality.
Why is it not about morality? Can I just ask you?
Because it's about. See, I feel like you're not listening to me. I've said it repeatedly. It's about bodily autonomy.
Yeah.
It's about.
It's not about morality. Oh my God! Shut up and answer his question. It's not about morality because it's not a sense of, oh, I would do this. Oh, it's my personal choice. It's a broader spectrum of, am I compelled to do this by someone else's law? Am I compelled to do this by someone else's words? It's about bodily autonomy because a lot of people aren't morally involved with that. I like me. I'm going to disconnect and I'm going to go do whatever I'm going to, what did they say?
My body, my choice.
Hey!
How original. Never heard that one before.
I mean, that's fair. Also, you said that life begins at fertilization. Does child support? Because that's a thing.
It should.
Also,
yeah.
It should.
Yeah.
You're dang right.
Yeah.
But then also, if it's about not having abortions, why aren't tubals more accessible? I'm 31 years old and can't go get my tubes tied. And if I do try, I have to have my husband's signature. I don't have the right to alter my own body to prevent pregnancy. Also, contraceptive is being limited. The access to contraceptive is being limited. So if it's about abortion or whatever, then why are medical processes being blocked that could solve your own issue? Not everything has to end in abortion. Some people
never has to end in abortion, man. We can trust God. We can trust God.
Or a nightmare, but that's a different story.
Well, were you a nightmare to your parents?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm the adult product of a woman who should have had an abortion. You have
You
no
wouldn't be here
idea
then.
what my
You wouldn't be
life
here
is.
then.
Exactly.
I praise God you're here.
No,
I praise God you're here.
So
Do you praise God they're here?
I literally had to go through things that people should have never had to go through. I never got to be a child because my parentals didn't know how to be parents. She literally lost her entire life. She was in the Navy, she was successful, but she had to give all of that up for a child at 19. Now she's a piece of crap. Like, it altered her life into a point where she is no longer a successful human being.
Well, I guess that's how you define success, but I mean, I think we're both glad you're here. I'm glad you're both here. I'm glad you weren't murdered in the womb
I
forever.
wouldn't have known if I wasn't here, so it wouldn't have mattered to me.
But your life's a blessing from God. Even if you have hard lives or.
let me ask you this. So I just want to get a beat on like where your lines are. So you have seen like Walgreens pharmacists refuse birth control to even married women, which is absurd, and that's a thing that has happened multiple times at this point. You see Judge Thomas is already alluded to the fact that he wanted to attack birth control. You see doctors right now, I just gave you an example, that are refusing women abilities to have their tubes tied. And then we have, what do you
I'm not asking. And then on top of that, you also have women being denied chemotherapy.
One question at a time. I'm wondering what's wrong with anything you just said if it's not about morality.
What's wrong with
we can have a moral conversation, and that's fine.
Everyone's
This is all about morality.
You can't even base security policies off of morality.
Hold on. Did you just flip that? Because what you just did, you're out here talking about abortions, but
that's not all we're talking about. Just so you know.
If contraception, because it's their moral duty, right? Because they're Christian, it's their moral duty to stop contraception. If contraception limits the amount of pregnancy, so does sex education, then wouldn't it be absolutely in your best interest to make sure everyone has sex education, that everyone has plenty of access to birth control? I didn't like that little sly move that you did there. So
I'm just praying. You said it has nothing to do with morality when I hear about that, but then you're talking about morality.
Because when you talk about, I'm talking about, I'm going to try to explain this. The main purpose is bodily autonomy. We can have a morality discussion, but morality.
Well, you went into morality, so you were talking about morality. So.
But see, I'm asking a new question.
Morality is a belief set by a lot of people. This is a common belief. However, this conversation does not apply to that because we're talking about self-choice. We're talking about people.
You're talking about morality.
No.
Yes, you are.
Absolutely not.
You are.
A choice
I don't want to get caught in semantics there.
Here's what I want to tell you. I want to tell you, every choice you make, no matter whether it's for life or death, and whether you think it's about life or it's about death, it has to do with your morality. And your morality is a standard that you have for good and bad.
I'm bored.
Whatever you make it to be.
I don't see. This is why I didn't want to specifically get on the word morality, because we can talk about, is this morality, is that? I'm talking about just brute facts here. Like, so where do you stand? You can tell me your own opinion. Where do you stand on the people keeping contraception from women? Doctors saying they won't give, they won't tie tubes and that kind of stuff. Where do you, and sex education? So that's my direct question. Where do you stand on those issues?
Oh, hold on. Regarding sex education, you may laugh at it, but I'll just tell you, you abstain until you're married and from sex.
But we know
it can be done.
We know that men don't abstain.
That's the problem.
I literally have done everything I have to avoid pregnancy. Contraceptive, I got my husband fixed. Like, I've done everything to a T to not have children because I don't.
No, I said abstain from sex. I didn't say take birth control pills too.
I'm married, so I can do whatever I want to according to your rules.
No, not according to my rules.
I've done everything in my power to make sure that I don't end up pregnant. I've done the groundwork. I don't want a child.
I'm sorry.
But if a man on the streets decides he wants to take what he wants and I get pregnant, I have to suffer that consequence for the rest of my life. According to your rules, I'm going to get an abortion. It's going to happen, actually.
You're going to go murder your baby.
Colorado. So my thing is, I have to suffer those consequences. I'm punished for a man's actions.
So you would punish your baby to death?
Absolutely. I would murder a 3-year-old, but that's me. I wouldn't really.
No, because then you'd go to jail. I don't think you want to go to jail.
But there is a clear distinction.
But you'd murder your own baby.
Do you feel that difference when she said murder a 3-year-old and murder and have an abortion? There is a difference.
There wasn't a difference.
Yeah, but he even acknowledged it because he was like, "Oh, that was
our law."
Our law acknowledges a 3-year-old as a human,
right,
but it does not acknowledge this baby as a human. You know,
That's not true.
To where you'd go to jail for murdering them.
You do. If you get in a wreck and you harm a pregnant woman, that is double the charges. If she had the intent of keeping it, if she had the medical bills from doing that, you are prosecuted. You owe restitution for harming that person and her fetus.
So our laws are hypocritical.
Oh, absolutely.
If the mother wants her child alive, would you both say that child's a human being? That child, it's a child?
It doesn't matter to me.
I would say that she wants her fetus, and that is beautiful. I am so glad. I have a lot of friends that are parents.
Why is that beautiful?
I love their children. Because I think
it's not a human being. Who cares?
It doesn't matter. It's what they
You just
want.
said it's beautiful, though.
It is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
Because you know it's a human being in the world.
No, don't tell me what I know. I enjoy someone being happy about finding out they're pregnant. I love when people are excited. However, I'm 30 and I still don't know whether to say my condolences or congratulations when somebody's telling me they're pregnant. I don't know, because sometimes, most of the time, it's not a blessing. Most of the time, it's an unfortunate circumstance.
That's our problem in this country. We see children as burdens, as curses, not a blessing.
Why are you out here preaching about what men do wrong instead
I
of
do.
trying to harass
I do.
women?
If you're listening, we don't harass women, man. We preach against murder, and we preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Are you a proponent? So are you a proponent for the state or federal government to provide health care to all children, to make sure to subsidize maybe parents trying to adopt? Are you okay with daycare is huge?
Yeah, childcare.
Daycare is a massive expense. And you said, oh, we feel like it's a burden. No, sir, it literally is a burden.
Actually, I would say that parents should care for their children.
Unless you have a massive amount of excess income, it is a stress on that. But so are you a proponent of those things? Are you against those things, but yet you still don't want people to have an abortion?
I'm a proponent of fathers and mothers having as many children as God blesses them with, and raising them, not dumping them off on other people, raising them.
Are you for?
I'm answering a question. Okay. I'm not a proponent for parents dumping their kids off on school, daycare, whatever. Take care of your children. We used to do that more in this country.
So women should stay at home and care for the babies while the men go out and work. Is that
what's wrong with
what
that?
I interpret?
What's wrong with that?
Outside with a megaphone.
What's wrong with that?
Your partner.
I don't have a wife, man.
Oh, okay. Well.
But what's wrong with that?
It's the.
That's how we used to do it.
Women are not cattle, man.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're the one that said they're cattle. We didn't say that.
No. But you saying they should
property.
be.
We're not saying they're property.
I have a very successful career. Why would I give that up because a man says?
But you'd murder your own baby.
Yes, absolutely.
You'd be selfish and murder your own baby. Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
So I can continue with my life.
You're like, forget about my baby. My baby's gonna die, so I can live for myself.
Baby. It's my choice.
That is selfish.
It's a choice to murder a baby.
It's not a baby. And then on top of that,
You're saying these aren't human beings.
Look at the numbers that you had to put on here. Second trimester. Those are only performed in medical emergencies.
That's a bunch of garbage.
Does that. Also, the whole argument with people using abortion as birth control. No, they don't, because no one can afford it. Abortion.
And this is the richest nation on the face of the earth. We can afford our babies. We just don't want children. We want our children dead. We're selfish people.
Like, honestly,
ma'am, you're being selfish.
That can't even afford to go get an abortion, much less.
Praise God. Let's raise that child. And there are Christians that can help us raise our children. We are a rich nation. How about we stop making excuses, stop saying, oh, poor me, and we deny ourselves and we love these babies.
Okay, so that's it. You don't matter. Let's save the babies. Women's lives do not matter. You just said it.
No, I didn't.
That's shitty. Anyway, we're leaving now.
You should stop supporting baby murder, ma'am.
I'm gonna leave you with this, and I actually really appreciate that y'all sat and talked to us.
Yeah. Thank you for the reasonable dialogue.